Hey, it's Todd. Welcome back to Risk On. It's February 2nd. My partner Jason Bartholomew's here. And what a day for Amazon. 100 billion in revenue. First time ever it crossed that number. I got to tell you what, man. If there's anybody who epitomates Risk On, it's Jeff Bezos. And he's stepping down as CEO and going to become the executive chairman. So obviously it's an evolution happening over at Amazon. That guy's killing it, man. 100 billion in revenue, and doesn't appear to be stopping anything. Didn't you say they gave a little guidance too?
Yeah, well, it looks like Andy Jassy is going to be the new CEO, I guess. So I didn't see the guidance. I do know that they had $7.23 earnings per share, 120 billion in revenue. Also, it's the entire market today was fueled with the big tech. We had Google revenue come in, 56 billion. They beat the street number. It was 53 billion.
Yeah, their gross revenue grew by 23%, but their cloud business still lost $1 billion for the quarter. But I think the big news is going to be that Jeff Bezos is stepping down. Andy Jassy is going to take over as CEO in the third quarter. But that's probably kind of an evolution for him. He's been at it a long time. It makes sense. It's what happened with Bill Gates and Microsoft. It's probably an inevitable situation. What happened with the market today, real quick? Let's get into an update real quickly. It's February 2nd. Thanks for tuning in again. We're going to talk about some Risk On stuff later in the show. But let's get an update from Jason.
Well, we had the Dow Jones Industrial was finished up 468 points today. That was 1.6%.
It's a rocket today.
Yeah, the NASDAQ was up 200 points.
Sure.
1.5%, and the S&P was up 50. Also, cryptocurrency, Ethereum and Bitcoin.
Yeah.
Very strong into the close.
It looked like Bitcoin was getting close to 36,000.
Yes, and Ethereum. I think Ethereum broke the all-time high today.
Yeah, I had a rocket day today. I had a rocket day today in the market. It's crazy. I'm Todd Alt, Wall Street veteran here, and I'm chairman and CEO of Alt Global. Can't talk about what I'm trading. Never can talk about our stock, obviously, but an amazing day in the market nonetheless. A little bit getting used to the show, a little bit, a little ad-libbing a little bit with you and I, but it was fun yesterday. I know we had a little delay in uploading stuff, but you're getting more comfortable.
I kept pushing.
Got to speak into that mic a little bit. You're getting used to that?
Yeah, for sure. Well, I was pushing the F5 button to get the refresh on the full show yesterday. And, once we got it all worked out and I watched through it all, the first 15 minutes, I was having some difficulty speaking into the mic. So
let's talk about your favorite stock, Sundial. I mean, I think they hit the bid again and raised some capital. Why don't you update them on that capital raise?
Sundial. They just closed an offering. Yeah, they closed an offering yesterday, and they come out with another offering today, 60.5 million shares at $1, with 14 million in warrants. Half are pre-funded warrants, 7 million pre-funded warrants. That was at $1. They actually closed at $1.04 today, so they didn't dip below the offering, which is always good. And of course, the standard Sundial volume, 950 million shares traded. I mean, it's the only ticker that I know that's always around 1 billion shares.
What are they doing with all that money?
Well, they've got the facility in Edmonton, Alberta. It's 448,000 square feet. They can customize for certain people. They can.
But how much weed are the Canadians smoking? I mean, seriously.
Well,
that's a lot of money to raise to grow weed.
Well, it's because of
to grow cannabis.
Yeah, cannabis. And flour and everything else.
Sure, got
it.
But
they're trying to get positioned so when the U.S. federal government legalizes the marijuana in all 50 states, which I think that's going to happen with Chuck Schumer leading the charge, they might be able to leverage, their infrastructure and their product knowledge and actually do some e-commerce into United States. So we'll see.
I think Jason and I are going to call that the marijuana will probably be federally legalized in the next, 2 years or so?
I think this year.
Oh, really? You think
that's
this year?
A bold statement.
2021?
Yeah, I really do. I think that's really...
That'll change the banking rules in a big way, right? Because a lot of these people are still unbanked.
But they'll change the banking rules, but will it soften up the rules for digital currency also? Will that be... Can we get that? I don't know.
Well, that goes to the Indians, right? They're trying to cut off currency.
They currently are. They're working on legislation, and they want to develop their own cryptocurrency. Actually, they've got, just a follow-up on that from yesterday, the India is to introduce law to ban all private cryptocurrency. Reserve Bank of India could issue their own digital currency.
But how does that work if they they can issue digital currency? The concept, see, this is the problem. The more the governments try to change the way they're going to do things and limit Bitcoin, the more Bitcoin becomes attractive because There's only 21 million coins that are going to ever be mined.
Right.
And so are the Indians going to limit the amount of currency they issue, or are they going to keep issuing digital currency? And then effectively the digital currency becomes a fiat currency.
Yep. And
then it doesn't have the same scarcity or the same decentralized control. So I just don't see why the governments don't get that Bitcoin's here. I think Bitcoin's here to stay. I've said it for years on end. I know the volatility scares the heck out of everybody.
Yeah.
I mean, I sit on, as I said, I'm executive chairman now, so I got to keep reminding myself I'm not the CEO anymore. I'm executive chairman of the company, and I know my board and other people. Bitcoin's still, for some of the older generation, Bitcoin's like a little, it's a little strange to them. But the reality is that more and more people are buying it, and more people see it as a store of value. They see it a way of decentralizing their wealth, and I can't imagine why it doesn't continue that way. So I just think India just prolongs the fact that if you can't get it, they're going to want to get it.
What's the thing with India, though, you got to remember is China and India, they are very bullish and their lifestyle and their citizens, they've always bought gold.
Oh, yeah, it's everywhere, right.
I mean, what if they come out with a Indian digital currency that's quasi-backed by gold, even if it's fractional? You know what I mean? Will that give it some clout? Will that give it,
That's an interesting idea.
I mean, that's
maybe
something.
Hey, did we cover everything you wanted to cover in the markets?
No, not.
Why don't we get back to that? Sorry, we got a little distracted with Bitcoin.
Let's get back to the obviously the elephant in the room is GME, GameStop. We want to know what happened to GameStop today.
Oh, yeah, I forgot about that name.
And we also want to touch on.
I just want to say officially, I didn't forget about the name. Today, I tried to buy GameStop, and my broker dealer wouldn't let me buy any. So it was down to $80. I think 70 something.
Yeah.
And I just wanted to have a little fun, do a trade, and I wasn't able to buy any, and I'm going to go check it out here, bring up the chart, Jason, while you talk about it.
So, yeah, speaking actually the restrictions from Robinhood and a couple of other brokers, they are not allowing you to buy GameStop. And if they do allow you to buy GameStop, they are putting limits on the amount of shares that you can purchase. And because of that, we saw a tremendous sell-off today without any buyers being able to step in, without the full capacity of brokers allowing buyers to come in and buy in a free market. That would not happen. So I have a problem with that.
Hey, Brett, can you bring up the chart for us? Let us know when it's on. All right, thanks, buddy. Obviously, you see $135 pullback in Bitcoin today, or GameStop,
yeah.
And after hours up about 42 cents. But the problem here is this thing was at 150 today. I think it continues to look like it's breaking down. I mean, it looks terrible from a pullback perspective. And when it pulled back down intraday, I think you see it right here. The low was around $70-something, $77, $76. Now, I couldn't buy any, and my broker wouldn't let me buy any. I just thought it was astonishing.
So if you're a short and
you can go off that screen now, Brett.
If you're a short and you know that's the game is kind of rigged there, you have limited capacity, limited capabilities to buy, then that emboldens the shorts to continue their games.
Sure.
I mean, the buyers did step in at 74.
Right.
And I think it did
close.
Those
who could buy.
Yeah,
right.
Those who could buy. I think it did close at, 90 or 95 in that range. I think you just had up there.
Sure.
But all of the...
you closed about 90.
Yeah, the autists on Reddit, as they call themselves, they're still holding. They're still posting their positions. They're showing that they're willing to just hold. And I've seen some significant... Well, they weren't losses because obviously a lot of them started accumulating at $14 to $20.
Sure.
But man, it hurts.
They've given back a lot, though.
I have seen 40 and 50%, give backs, which hurts. They didn't take profit.
You showed me an account where the guy was down like $5 million that day, right?
Yeah. Deep effing Value. That's his name. He's one of the very, very intelligent posters, traders, investors. Yeah, he's down $5 million actually
on Wall Street Bets, right?
Yeah, on Wall Street Bets,
and that was yesterday. So we got to talk about another 135 today.
Yeah, so another.
Oh my God,
yeah.
It's a big number.
Yeah, it's a big number. It makes you wonder. Did he take some off the top? Did he take any profit?
Yeah.
Or is he holding to? Is he still have the integrity and the moral courage to make a stand against these guys?
I could not do it. I'd be a seller.
There's no way.
Yeah, if I had a stock that went from 14 to and I was lucky enough to keep it to 300 or 400, there's no way. I mean, trees don't go to the sky. Trees don't grow to the sky, for sure.
How many opportunities do you have like that? It's just amazing. So I'm with you. I would definitely take profit.
Yeah, but there's not much you can do now. I think that
No.
thing's broken, and unless you have a lot of re-up here, you've attracted. I mean, you probably attracted every hedge fund, every trader there is, and they're taking the other side of Wall Street bets, right?
Yeah, Citron,
and you don't have unlimited capital to fight that fight, and so it's going to trade eventually back to where its real value is, wherever that is, right?
Yeah.
But they sure did wipe out some of the. They're smart guys. They picked the right spot to pick on somebody, and they took it. They took it there, right? Amazon's down a little bit in the aftermarket. That would make sense a little bit, probably a little profit taking. Anything else you want to cover?
I just wanted to talk about the silver tickers and spot silver itself.
Did they get hit today?
Yeah, they got hit pretty hard. Spot silver was actually down around $26.50.
Wow.
So $3 per ounce. That was quite a decrease, and also the tickers actually were in alignment following suit. Some of the notable ones we spoke of yesterday: AUMN, AG, SLV, all down 25%.
I saw a guy on CNBC yesterday talking about they usually do about 1 million a weekend online. And they did 27 million. And they sold out of I want to say something like 300,000 ounces of, them, the ones from the U.S. Mint.
The American Eagles.
Yeah. So they didn't have any. They had down to 80 pieces of this incredible selling going on there. Right.
I noticed that because when the Eagles sold out, and then you saw the likely transition was, well, for me anyway, it was to go to the Canadian Maple Leafs.
Sure.
And then the Austrian Philharmonics, the Perth Mint stuff, all of that stuff was just devastated. You just couldn't find it anywhere on AppMax, Providence. So
I don't know that's not a trend here. I mean, that's a big number. That is a big number, man. You had a lot of people getting into silver. That trade, I mean, probably had to pull back a little bit, but what I was reading was there's a lot off the table there.
The story is still the same. Nothing's changed as far as the economy, the debt. Nothing's changed. So why would I have any reason not to keep buying? I mean,
if you could pull up the screen, Brett. You got Google up about 119 in the aftermarket, and I would say that's a pretty big breakout for Google. That's got to be a big deal for these guys,
that's
right?
Huge.
This thing's been kind of languishing for a long time. It's kind of underperformed as a FANG.
Yeah.
And so that's going to draw a lot of attention. That thing's up. Now, it's only 6.25%, but relative to the size of Google, that's a big number.
That's a huge number, yeah.
All right, Brett, you can go off the screen now. What else you want to cover?
The only other thing I wanted to touch on was SAVA, which is Cassava Sciences. They had a huge move today.
Hey, I can speak. For full disclosure, I'm chairman and founder of Alzheimer's Neuro, and that is a biotech that has an S1 on file, so I can't comment about it. But I will tell you that the space in Alzheimer's is a big deal, and look at the move in this stock for the hope that they've improved cognition. I think the move was something like, wasn't it more like a couple 100%?
It was 214%, I believe.
What's the symbol?
That's SAVA.
SAVA.
Yeah.
We're not recommending it. As you know, this is a show for entertainment purposes. We do not recommend stocks here, but we do talk about them, and that thing made a monster move. What was the deal with that today?
There was some pullback into the close, but what happened was the drug Simufilam or Simufilam.
Yeah,
it was
good luck with that.
Yeah, that one was tough. They concluded end of phase 2 meeting for the drug development program. No adverse safety events.
Wow.
So that was.
I know it got a $2 billion market cap today, so that was up about 1.5 billion in terms of market cap. Right, it's a pretty big move.
You have to wonder what they're going to do in the next few days.
Yeah, I'm pretty excited about that because obviously I care about that space a lot.
Yeah.
My father has Alzheimer's. My mother-in-law died from it. My grandparents died from it. It's a big, big, important part of my life in terms of working on solving that problem.
Yeah.
Anything else you want to talk on the market?
That's really about it as far as the some of the headlines that went on today.
I want to talk about Landry Seafood. I don't think people realized yesterday that Tilman Fertitta is re-entering the market. He went private in 2010. When I worked at Witter a long time ago, I was part of their IPO, and he's really made an incredible place. The people don't realize what this guy owns. I mean, this is, now granted, the pandemic has been terrible, but this is a preeminent operator. I mean, he owns the most eclectic, best steakhouses. He owns Morton's. He bought Claim Jumper out of bankruptcy. This guy is a restaurateur to, billion-dollar buyer on CNBC. And I want to make sure I get it right. I'm going to look on my phone real quick just to make sure I get the symbol right. but I was looking at this SPAC that's buying, and not a big move in the SPAC. And you're getting, and this is iconic restaurant chain, entertainment chain, and some of the Golden Nugget will be in there too.
He also had, he had LCA, which merged into GNOG, Golden Nugget Online Gaming.
Right. The symbol is Frank Sam Tom Fast, FST, Fast Acquisition. Talks about $11. And I read through it and I was like, this is Tilman's really doing something big here. He's putting a lot of money in, raising a lot of capital. He's still going to own about 60% of the company after it goes public. So I'd keep an eye on that. I'd definitely put that on my radar if you're looking at SPACs. Because that's not, if you look at recovery, I mean, you start thinking forward about recovery, right?
Right.
In terms of risk on, it's likely that COVID's going to come off, right? So it's going to be risk off COVID.
Right.
And then kind of pent up demand. Could be a big deal. I kind of think he's a shrewd guy, Tilman, right? I mean, this is a smart guy, Tilman Fertitta. And you may see an opportunity to own part of what he's doing coming right out of COVID. I'd take a look at it. Of course, I'm not recommending it, and do not listen to me. Just this is for informational purposes only. And sorry, I got to say that. There's a bunch of lawyers involved here. You know that.
Yeah, absolutely.
But I think it closed at 11.10, and I would keep an eye on this thing. This is Brett, can you bring it up on the screen? It's Fast Acquisition, FST, and
here we go.
I do your research. I really think this is an interesting move that Tilman Fertitta is making. Now, this does not include the Houston Rockets. He's going to keep that company private.
Yeah.
You can't really blame him, right?
No, I mean,
he wants to own the basketball team.
One of 28 teams. I think
he's not getting rid of that.
Yeah, that's not going anywhere.
But there is some online gaming in here. There's some ownership of Golden Nugget, and so it's a really interesting in play in the thing. What did he do with LCA? Did he bring Golden Nugget public?
I think he merged. I think LCA was a SPAC, if I recall correctly.
Sure was, yeah.
Yeah, so I think that merged into the to GNOG, I think. And I want to say that Michigan just approved online gaming. Several other states, Tennessee now. Tennessee allows you to bet parlays on your cell phone.
Yeah, I'm a big believer, if you're talking about risk on, I'm a big believer that you're going to see sort of the gaming. If you think of Wall Street bets, if you think of Robinhood being, on your phone, inevitably all that gambling is going to take place right on your phone, right? You're going to be able to do it from anywhere you want.
We can do it right now. Like MGM has an app.
No, I know, but I mean, I think it's going to become mainstream.
Oh yeah,
for
sure.
Can literally just, everything is on this digital device, right?
Yep.
And that sort of game of skill or online betting right there at your phone, where you don't need a device, but you need an app. It's clear as day. People are going to scramble for that area. I mean, that's kind of what the DraftKings are doing and things like that, right?
Yeah, you touch on that. DraftKings, FanDuel, they also have the sports betting side now. They've expanded. So you're looking at, I don't think William Hill has an app yet. I might be wrong on that. But
so MGM's, do you have to be a resident of Vegas? Because I saw it.
Yeah.
It looks like you have to be in Nevada, or the state has to be legal, right?
Yeah, it has to be legal where you are. You can't.
So they just geofence you? Or,
they
or can you VPN and pretend like you're somewhere else?
You can try to VPN, but they geolocate your cell phone.
Oh,
because it's similar with online poker.
Got it.
Yeah,
so VPN and doesn't work.
Yeah, it doesn't work.
What are we talking about gaming the system for? Sorry. Don't pay attention to that.
Yeah, well, I mean, the thing is, everyone during during COVID and during the lockdowns, they were bored. They were trying to find stuff to do. That's why so many traders now have appeared. And now as the rules change and COVID and they ease up on COVID, you're going to see the pent-up demand for online gaming, especially because now that the leagues are starting to play more. And
in terms of risk on, I know you spoke about vaccinations. I thought we were at 31 million, but you said we had a different number. Where are we at in terms of vaccinations?
I saw 26 million today, but don't quote me on that. That was just one of the headlines when they were talking about.
Is that completed? Both dosages?
Yeah, the double dosage.
Yeah, different than it's the double dosage, right?
So that was one of the indicators today that led the market to go up. That, of course, with big tech earnings and the fast track for the stimulus, which is supposed to be in the House. They're looking at it. The Republicans wanted a counteroffer of $600 billion. The Dems are holding firm at $1.9 trillion.
But you saw Susan, what's the senator from Maine?
Oh, Susan Collins.
Yeah, you saw her come out and talk and say that there was some interaction with Biden. It looked like they were good interaction.
He's always going to get a few of these Republicans that are more moderate, like Murkowski and
well,
Collins.
I mean, he was with them for so long.
Yeah,
right?
exactly.
And he's really well liked.
So he's able to reach across the aisle to a lot of those folks.
So a stimulus deal gets done. Just the question is it 1.9 billion or 1.9 trillion or 600 billion or what's that number look like?
And will it be the 1,400 or will it be the 2,000 that the Biden campaign promised?
I just simply do not understand how the government thinks $1,400 helps anyone. I mean, I just don't get it. I mean, they lose their jobs, they can't go to work, it just makes no sense to me how they think that's the case. I don't understand why we don't just say we're going to give you $1,500 a month or something for a few months while this happens and lock it and had locked it down. But that's a different conversation. Now we're going to give you a one-time payment. It makes no sense to me. I don't know how they're doing it.
I would have preferred the payroll tax cuts personally, but that's my choice. But the thing is with if you talk about like a universal basic income.
No, I don't want universal basic income.
Just for
but
90
during
days.
COVID, you could have given 90 days of income and
Absolutely.
then it would have been, you stay at home, we're going to pay you to stay at home. You think you'd be done, but I don't know. I got to tell you, I saw something scary. I know I watched Bill Maher, even though I'm a Republican.
Mm-hmm.
Last Bill Maher, and I'll tell you, the beginning segment of these two people that have a podcast, I think it's called Dark Horse.
Mm-hmm.
They are very convincing that that came from the lab.
From Wuhan lab.
Oh yeah, it was very convincing.
I might get in trouble for saying that.
Yeah, but let's obviously we don't want to have a problem here. Let's be careful.
Yeah.
A lot of people said it didn't.
Mm-hmm.
Some side, one side or the other said.
Yeah.
But if you listen to these scientists, the evidence seems to be mounting that that's the case.
In fact, there were some scientists there that were fearing for their lives, actually. And one of them actually was in Hong Kong, and her Twitter account got censored and shut down.
Sure.
So,
well, I would encourage everyone, let's stay neutral on the political side.
Yeah.
I'd encourage everyone to go watch the beginning of Bill Maher's last Friday's broadcast. I thought it was kind of overwhelming. I watched it twice. I was thinking that the podcast is called Dark Horse.
Okay.
And these two scientists were pretty impressive. I would tell you, it kind of blew me away.
Yeah, I'm going to take a look at that.
Yeah, you'd be blown away. I was like, what? It was, and they're talking about it's strange that the virus is more lethal indoors than out. There's a bunch of things about why it's surviving that was it's scary.
And that you can talk about the whole mask ordeal too. We're not going to get into it. 2 masks, 3 masks. I mean, these people are going crazy. How many masks are enough masks? Fauci tells me no mask, a year ago, and now I want to wear 3 masks.
Be careful, you're showing your stripes here, buddy.
Yeah, I'm sorry, but I wanted to just circle back on one thing. You talked about helping the people out of America and $600 breadcrumbs. That's
sure.
That's a slap in the face.
Sure.
But if you think about it, the entire both political parties in Washington, all politicians during this entire event or entire pandemic, whichever way you want to look at it,
sure,
they all received their full amount of compensation and their healthcare benefits and everything. So why, none of them took a stand and say, hey, I'm going to stand in solidarity with the people. I'm not going to take my pay until, Americans get taken care of. But nobody did that, obviously.
So we're going to transition back to silver. I know we said it was a risk on trade yesterday. Pulled back today, 8.3%. What are your thoughts? I mean, it's still nothing changed, right? It's $227 trillion in debt.
Nothing changed. You can dollar cost average like I have been doing on my physical stack of silver that I actually own.
Yeah, but you're a rarity. You actually own bars.
Yeah, I actually own bars. But, you can always, if like some of these tickers like AG, First Majestic Silver, is what I would. It's one of the, in my opinion, obviously, this is not financial advice, but it's a solid company with a solid CEO.
Sure.
And that's just a long for me. Like, I'm not going anywhere. They're paying dividends now, effective Q1 2021.
Wow, really? I didn't know that.
Yeah, 1%. So the story hasn't changed.
Could you go to the screen real quick? This is the iShares Silvers. SLV is the symbol.
Yeah,
Brett, just be there for a second.
That's the ETF there.
Appreciate it. Okay, you can go back off it, Brett. Thanks. So we had an interesting day today. I didn't quite get why the market rallied like it did. I mean, it tells you that you don't know what you're doing. More I realize that I don't know what I'm doing, better, right? I
mean, in a vacuum, you can pick and choose certain tickers that you're interested in and you just want to look at. But like you said, like macroeconomically and the big story of the market itself, you never know what's going to happen. It's a 24-hour news cycle that affects the markets globally. You also have, after-hours earnings reports like Google, like Amazon.
Sure.
So you have to stay engaged, like basically 24 hours a day, and that's like tough because, we have to sleep.
Hey, I want to end the note. We're going to end up real quickly here. Let's talk about Mark Cuban. I know he did some stuff yesterday.
Yep.
He was on Wall Street Bets. What happened with Mark Cuban yesterday?
Cuban did an AMA on Reddit.
What the hell is AMA?
Ask me anything.
Oh, ask me anything.
Yeah.
What's up with all these things?
So
give me a stonk and all these. I'm
stonk.
getting old, dude, buddy.
But I mean, he was
AMA.
talking. He was talking about patience. Is involved in the market. Disruption. Disrupting the market. It's never easy. It's never a straight line.
Sure.
And you know about that. I mean,
for sure.
So,
yeah.
I mean, he was just giving some good advice to a lot of these people on Reddit. Staying positive, talking about how, taking on the old guard, it's not easy. And that he was just commending those folks about, staying firm to what they believe in. And, we're seeing it. I mean, we were talking about all the lost profits from GME.
Mark Cuban, I had the pleasure of meeting him actually at an Oscar De La Hoya fight. And I actually owned a little bit of Lionsgate at the same time he did, and a little bit of Mama.com. I've always admired what he does. He's a very smart, pragmatic guy. He no bullshit guy, calls people out if they're scammers. I really like him. He's a steady kind of,
Yeah.
Be interesting to see if that guy would run for president. I
was
know he's
just
talked
gonna
about
ask
it
you
before, but
Yeah.
I just think he's a smart guy thinking things through and has conviction, which is what I like about Mark a lot.
Yeah.
He will, call it like he calls it. He doesn't hold back.
No. And if he were to run for president, which party would he pick?
I don't know. That would be tough. I probably picks Democrats, but
you think?
I don't know. I don't think you've been able to squeeze that out of him, have you?
No. What do you think about I try to figure out like Cuban and Elon,
right.
where they stand, because, they sometimes from time to time they lay some hints out there, but especially with Elon in California and the lockdowns.
So when this thing Clubhouse, I transitioned a little. When this thing Clubhouse came out, I was invited right away. There's almost like nobody on it, right? And then we were allowed to invite other members. And then the other day, Elon was on it, and they couldn't get into the room. There was like overflow rooms. So this Clubhouse thing just raised additional capital. This is a really interesting audio. You can't just sign up. It's only on iOS, and you got to get invited. I think I invited you, right?
Yeah,
Did you try it out?
Yeah, I definitely tried it. It's really cool.
It is. It's all audio.
Yeah.
Can have individual rooms, but I think it's going to be a big deal. Although I found that for me, I got a day job, which takes me 12 hours a day or more, that I just couldn't sit on the audio all the whole time, right? Met a lot of people, but it can suck up a lot of your time, which is probably what social media apps want, right? They want to, it's a really interesting play, this Clubhouse.
But I think Clubhouse is better because you can leverage relationships on there. It seemed like pretty easy.
Yeah, it was I was in the same rooms with a lot of famous people. It was really interesting talk. I saw, I think Vlad from Robinhood was being interviewed by Elon or vice versa or whatever.
Right.
So Clubhouse is becoming a pretty big deal.
So they have you there's like a top group of moderators, right?
Yeah, you get invited to moderate. Like if you were in a room with me, I could invite you to moderate.
Right.
I get invited to moderate all the time by Bobby and Hustler, Bobby Awad and Hustler. How you guys doing? I'm going to tag them. Hey, let's make sure we tag those guys. I love them. They're in Vegas. I've been invited a few times, but Spectacular, I think his name's Spectacular Smith.
Yeah.
He's got a big following. But it's interesting to see when you think things couldn't iterate in social media, you see this the point of it is you see a whole change in social media around audio only. And I think people are pretty comfortable with it. So check out Clubhouse if you can. Get an invite. I got 5 invitations. If you send me a message and make a comment, I'll invite you if you have iOS. Just put your, I don't know how you would do that.
Isn't it by phone number?
No, I think you can.
Is there another way to do it?
You can invite by email too.
Okay.
Hey, send me a message and I'll send you a private message if you make a comment below, and I'll invite you to Clubhouse.
Yeah. And the great thing about one more thing about Clubhouse is, well, you have so many strengths that you can be in so many different Clubhouse forums that, it's just pretty interesting, and how specific these forums are, these discussion groups.
Right.
So I thought that was pretty neat.
Hey, I'm Todd Alton. This is Risk On. I'm a 30-year plus Wall Street veteran. This is Jason, former professional baseball player, current professional poker player.
Well, I'm here.
Are we gonna ever watch you play some tournaments again? And what?
Eventually.
Anyways, we appreciate you tuning into Risk On. If you want us to talk about any topics that are on your mind, obviously put a comment below. We'll see you tomorrow.
Take care.